leader of the oil will pass. I'm pleased to bring in our panel. Ken Timmerman joining us. He is a senior fellow at the America First Policy Institute, author of The Iran House, Tales of Revolution, Persecution, War, and Intrigue. Certainly a great read. And retired U.S. Army Colonel David Giammona, the author of Your Mission in God's Army. Gentlemen, pleasure to have you both. Strait of Hormuz. One quote from someone who used to be in the Navy in France, Ken, I'm going to start with you, said it would be suicide to put a civilian or military ship through there today. Is that bluster? Is it fact? Obviously, with mines now being destroyed, it's a sense of real concern.
Of course, there's a sense of real concern, but frankly, suicide, no. That is a comment from a French admiral. The last time the French ran an offensive naval operation was April of 1945, when they ran patrol boats from the French Riviera down the coast of Italy, and it was called a coastal parade. The French are very good at that kind of thing. Look, it's dangerous. Yes, the Iranians still have artillery. They still have missiles that can hit ships, that can intercept ships, but we basically own everything that's going through the Strait of Hormuz. If Iran wants to sell its oil, for example, and I know we're going to talk about that, they have to go through a U.S. virtual naval blockade. We don't need to run the ships through the Strait of Hormuz at this point. We've got air assets, we've got space assets, as well as other assets that we can use to protect ships. So I am less worried about that than some of these reports I'm hearing.
Well, thank you for being the calm and logical person there to discuss that, because obviously President Trump spoke from the White House just within the past hour saying, I think they should go. And they're obviously increasing the insurance for the risk insurance for the vessels as well. I want to get your reaction, Colonel Giammona, on Hezbollah. It does seem like the proxy is, really engaged right now with Israel. How long can they continue to persist? We're seeing, reports of President Trump also said we love Lebanon. We're seeing, the women and children who are sheltering. IDF, as they always do, warning civilians get out and get to shelter as they continue to fight back against the proxy.
Yeah, well, Iran is, of course, losing the strategic war, and they want to bring Hezbollah in. Hezbollah it estimates over 100,000 rockets, and so they can bring some devastation to Israel, and that will be their northern tier. And so we have to take a look and see how much of Hezbollah is really ready to go to war with Israel. Israel is striking them as we speak, trying to take out command and control. So the next few hours, a few days, we're going to see what Hezbollah actually wants to do in this war. And again, Iran doesn't have to win the war. All they have to do is survive this war, and they will win. So it's a strategic thinking, strategic war, and the Strait of Hormuz is a big factor. They want to have an economic global meltdown, and so that's what we're doing.
I want to play Steve off and get your reaction on the other side, Cam. He spoke to our Greta Van Susteren here on Newsmax.
In all that time, was there ever any indication they wanted to budge?
Look, they claim that that they were ready to make concessions, but there was no palpable evidence of it.
I think that needs to be played for everyone on the left there, especially those Democrats on the Hill that continue to say there's no strategy. And also talk to us about what David just said. They just have to survive. We don't even know if the son of the Ayatollah, who's the leader, how long he'll survive. He hasn't been seen in public.
Well, David is right about that. If the regime survives, they win in a way. And so this war does need to be fought strategically. One of the other things that Steve Witkoff said, and I think it was tremendously significant, he said the Iranians told him right off the bat, you're not going to get diplomatically what you couldn't take or destroy militarily last June. So there was no way they were going to give up their 460 kilograms of highly enriched uranium. That's uranium to 60%. It's virtual military grade weapons fuel. The Iranians themselves told Witkoff they could make 11 bombs with it. It's an entire nuclear weapons arsenal, and apparently it is still there. So that's got to be a top priority for our warfighters.
Right, and reports that special forces may be sent in to find that. And exactly, they were offered free nuclear energy forever if they wanted to do that, as long as they wouldn't enrich. They declined that offer. But there's also, we talked about the French admiral, Ken, and I want to play this for Colonel Giamona. You also have the American media and folks that are being bombastic. Joy Reid apparently had this guest on talking about why we're doing this war, the MAGA base, and who they are against. Let's play this.
This is a fairly standard way of identifying one's, you just create an imaginary other, Muslims, brown people, Middle Easterners, whatever, and then you just define yourself against that imaginary thing that you created. It's what we do as a country. It's not unusual. You said it yourself. It's post 9/11 America again. What I do think is important is that this kind of rhetoric is specifically designed to lay a foundation for what could be an extreme acceleration of this bombing campaign.
What? Colonel, I don't know what he is trying to say. The brown people comment that they target people and now they're going to use it as war strategy. You tracking on any of this after we just saw 2 people pledge allegiance to ISIS? Yes, we do have a problem in our country, sleeper cells. Colonel Giamona.
Yeah, we forget October 7th. Who's behind all the terror in the Middle East is Iran. They killed almost 30,000 of their own people, just trying to destroy Israel. If they had nuclear weapons, they would use it. Who are we talking about here? That guy has absolutely no knowledge of what he's talking about. And so, there's
why he's sitting with Joy Reid, I guess.
Yeah, there's a real threat out there. Yeah, go ahead.
But you have to wonder, this is why President Trump on the road today, Ken, I'm going to give you the final word here in our final moments. He's in Kentucky, he's in Ohio. A lot of the folks there say, yes, we support him because this is something that's going to make the world a safer place, a more peaceful place. Your thoughts on how he does the messaging, as we know they will not stop until, like you said, the mission is finished.
Well, first of all, people forget that the word Iran gave us the word Aryan. So the two are very close together. This is a strategic war. There's been talk of Kharg Island, of taking Iran's export terminal. The president has said he does not want to destroy Iran's infrastructure because we are not at war with the Iranian people. I think that if we go after Kharg, for example, it would have to be a strategic plan to cripple the regime, to send a blow to the people of Iran that the days of the regime are over. We will control Kharg Island and we will turn it over to the next leader, a leader that we choose, that we find acceptable, and a leader that is then accountable to the people of Iran. I think that has to be the ultimate end game here. We can't just blow stuff up. We've got to make sure that this regime never raises its ugly head again.
Well, really great perspective from you both, and analysis as we watched tonight the night sky in Israel, and also, as you said, Kharg Island, really a critical piece in some of the strategy perhaps that they are looking at. Ken Timmerman, Colonel Giamona, appreciate you both.
Thanks so much.
Thanks.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back,